Blah. Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. So this guy, Andrew Bowser, he has this character called Onyx the Fortuitous who like went viral, over the last few years because he like appears on these like news broadcasts of like real events. He somehow manages to find his way onto these events. And then what he did was he did a Kickstarter campaign. They raised $700,000, man. And he proceeded to make a film. He wrote, directed, and starred as Onyx the Fortuitous. And the plot is Onyx joins a group of fellow occultists to attend a dark ritual at the mansion of their idol, Bartok, played by the brilliant, incredible Jeffrey Combs. I love that Andrew Bowser's parents, or Onyx's parents in this film, are fucking Barbara Crampton and Jeffrey Combs from Reanimator. It's absolutely amazing. The rest of the plot: suspecting Bartok's nefarious intentions, Onyx is suddenly immersed in a world of monsters, mystery, and mayhem. And it's just, dude, it is great. This was such a fun home run. Like, really, really can't recommend it enough. I gave it 5 stars. It's streaming on Prime. You really feel the singular vision and voice of Andrew Bowser, who knows what he wants. There's lots of great practical effects. The money was well spent. I haven't seen the Angry Video Game Nerd movie, and I like James Rolfe, and I love Cinemassacre. I mean, what I'm doing is literally a ripoff of Cinemassacre right now and what we're doing, because he always does his Monster Vision, which is something that I used to love affectionately watching years and years and years ago. But I've always heard that the Video Game Nerd movie just doesn't. It's a misstep. And James Rolfe, he always wanted to be a filmmaker, so I kind of feel like Andrew Bowser as Onyx has a similar thing. Like, he has his own internet character. He parlayed who he was into a Kickstarter campaign, and with all that goodwill and all of that money, he spent it so wisely. Like, there were a lot of people who were kind of scratching their heads about what's his face. About James Rolfe and Cinemassacre. It's like, why the fact that they shot in LA and that the money was not used or stretched in a way that it kind of could and should have been. You know what I mean? And here I'm watching this, I'm going, my God, this movie looks like it was made for $8 million. Like Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, I am quoting that because that was a movie where the production value was, it was, let me put it this way. Onyx the Fortuitous feels right up there with Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, and it was made for a tenth of the price. You know what I mean? Like, they had 10 times the budget, Kevin Smith. So it just goes to show that you can really create, it goes to show how salaries and getting certain kinds of actors can, inflate or deflate a budget, you know what I mean? And not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily reflect in the production value, right? Because they're both evenly, it's like they both spent the same amount of money on production value, and yet somehow Onyx comes out on top, man. I feel like it'll go down as just a beloved cult classic film. I really do. I hope Andrew makes more movies. Like, this guy's brilliant. He really is. I love the practical effects. As I said, when his friends turn into like these zombie creatures, they're just rod puppets, and they're so effective. There's something that just makes them otherworldly, but yet effective all at the same time, because they chose not to go a CGI route. It's just a fucking fun time. The script is fun. Everything is fun. Maybe it was a tad bit too long. It's an hour and 50 minutes. I would say that maybe this thing could have been at most 90 minutes or 85 minutes long. I'm not going to hold the running time against this movie. But if I had to pick a single area where a single area of critique, that would be it. And it's really not even a critique. Highly, 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 highly recommend watching this. It's just so much friggin' fun. there's so many Easter eggs. There's He-Man, there's like all these quotes, there's Klaatu Barada Necto, the Bartok says, "Give me the power, I beg of you," which is a reference to Chucky. I mean, there's so many. It's like what we all think of as genre lovers. If we're like, oh, if I ever had the chance to make a genre film, I would throw the kitchen sink of all my influences that I wear on my sleeve and just make it all into a gumbo. It's funny. We were talking before about Rob Zombie and how Rob Zombie kind of wants to do his horror version of Quentin Tarantino. And it kind of he kind of overshoots that a lot. And I feel like Andrew Bowser isn't trying to be a horror Quentin Tarantino at all, but he's kind of doing similar things to Rob Zombie in certain regards. And he's just effort. It's just much better. He's just much better. And part of it has to do with that. He's got like this original character. It's an original story. It's not when I say original, it's not like, oh my God, I've never heard that concept before. It's banking on lots of different tropes. But the script beats out really well. It works. It really works. Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. Can't recommend it enough. 5 out of 5 stars. I'm trying to think of what else is in it that just makes it so great. His 5 friends are great. Terrence Carson, I think is his name. He's kind of like, he's sort of doing like a Keith David sort of thing, but as like a professor. He's so great, man. Everybody's great. They really are. Everybody was good in this movie. I love he works kind of like at Better Off Dead. He works at the meat hut, at fast food. So, and they call him the patty flipper. It's kind of like his moniker, patty flipper. And again, to go back to Jeffrey Combs for a minute, he just unleashes the Combs on all of us. Like, there are so many movies where they're like, oh, let me get Jeffrey Combs for a weekend. They don't give Jeffrey Combs the room he needs to do what Jeffrey Combs does best. And Andrew does. Andrew's like, I got Jeffrey Combs, and he makes Jeffrey Combs just soar in all the ways that you love Jeffrey Combs for being Jeffrey Combs. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Onyx the Fortuitous. Do not hesitate to watch.